Hello everyone, welcome to the channel if you're new, and welcome back if you're already a subscriber. I'm going to do my best to keep Binks off the table. She's crawling in the windows. I think she's going to stay out of our way. But we are here for September's plan with me today. I'm not going to lie, I wish I could just go ahead and skip to October because I'm all about some fall. But after some very deep thought and research, I am ready for September. Lord have mercy. I was just very uninspired to do September and it was frustrating. So we're going to start with the tracker page. So normally I forget all about this and then I backtrack. So I'm a little bit more put together this particular video. So the way that my tracker page works is that I use the lines up at the very top to track what I'm going to track for the month. Write down what I'm going to track for the month. That's track saying a lot of times. Wow. Anywho, so we've got 10,000 steps, getting all my power hours, drinking 64 ounces of water, working out in calories that I track every single month. That never changes. However, I use the last like 5 slots, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to track different things every month. Not that I haven't repeated myself on more than one occasion, but that's what I leave that there for. So it's really simple. I don't know how, oh, that one shows up really well. But that's what it looks like as I fill it out. I've got to go back and fill some stuff out for, August, because I'm obviously shooting this before September and I'm really bad about filling in my tracker page. It's definitely something I have even tried to track. It's crazy. But for this month, I am going to be doing a couple different things. So I want to track waist trainer hours. I didn't want to run over the word progress. I don't mind running over the stamp so much, but I didn't want to bounce over my progress lettering. I am, honestly, like, I am not here for a public debate under any circumstances. I have a waist trainer. I've used it off and on over time, and I'm just trying to utilize it again. Especially as we get into that costuming season, it's kind of key to prepping for that. So I want to track the hours in that. But please do not tell me how unhealthy or healthy or whatever it is, like, not the place for that. We didn't come here for that. Another thing that I want to track is Handmaid's Tale. I literally forgot how to spell there for a minute. That kind of overlaps again. I have the book. I actually had a copy of the book, couldn't find it anywhere. Finally ordered a new copy. And I want to read it and the newer book. I think it's called New Testament, and then binge watch the series. I've seen parts of the series and I knew I had the book. So long story short, I'm finally getting on that now that I'm done with my insurance training. I want to track Instagram post. I just want to have more of a social media preference moving forward, just on behalf of growing the shop and this channel. I really would love to see us hit a number to where we could do live streams, and they don't let you do live streams until you've hit 1,000. So that's definitely part of it. So tell your friends and subscribe. Shameless plugging. But yes, I would like to see us be able to do live stream events of all different shapes and kinds for all different platforms, be it planning, be it project life, junk journaling, whatever strikes our fancy. But that's going to take some effort on my part. And I didn't realize I was shaking the camera. I'm so sorry. My bad. But yeah, that's obviously going to take some time and patience and work. So Instagram posts definitely help. The other thing I want to track are Hobonichi things. So we've got Hobonichi first and careful over here. Hobonichi. Second. And that means first half, second half to me. Because I'm still trying to catch up and finish up in that first half. Little bit of a chat about Hobonichi. So I'm really stressed out about the Hobonichi thing. I love my Hobonichi. Let's start with that. I am in a kerfuffle quandary of epic proportions, trying to figure out what I'm going to do for 2021. Obviously, amidst COVID, shipping times are bananas. I have had issues in the past getting my Hobonichi here direct from Hobonichi because for whatever reason, there's always this big misunderstanding with reading the label. We already have enough mail issues, and we're going to also be dealing with election mail things. So the last thing I really want is to be trying to track down a parcel from Japan. So I have decided that my current plan is to go with Hobonichi, but just buy from a local supplier or a US supplier to be more precise. I have also considered possibly going off-grid and doing an Archer and Olive. I would love to hear what your 2021 planner plans are, if you're a planner chick or planning to be one, who you're going with for the year. I'd love to hear. But yeah, I'm not planning to abandon Hobonichi, but if this particular Archer and Olive knocks my socks off, we might have to do some reworking. I think that Hobonichi has really provided me with a planner piece and giving me a space for everything. It truly, truly has. But at the same time, it is a lot. It's a lot. It was already a lot to fill in and have the daily journal, even though it was really beneficial to me. I noticed a lot over the last year, even, that I am having to back plan or back journal. And I get that I've made those rules for myself, but it is really, it's a never ending task because you're always going to wake up and there's going to be a new day. Well, at least hopefully there will be. But it stresses me out that I still have so much to catch up on. And I was so good that first year, I think, because I was just trying to get it all out of my brain. So I've been contemplating if I need to change Hobonichis, possibly. But even then, I've wondered if that would not be detrimental in some way because the journaling helped keep me sane. So around and around on the teacup ride we go. All that to say that I'm planning to be Hobonichi. I'd love to hear your planner choices for 2021 if you've already made one. And just get your thoughts. So there's that. That's tracker page. All done, bright and shiny and new. I will call this out really quick, not cool. I did the percentage version down here at the bottom. I've done that before, and it was recommended to me because it's so easy to like look at your tracker page and do like, oh, that looks like I did really good on this, or I didn't do so good on that. But it's different when you put it into percentages. Another thing that people have done is like do the percentage of the days that it was possible. So let's say you have a workout tab, but your commitment is to work out Monday through Friday. Okay, well, you shouldn't have it count against you that you didn't do it Saturday and Sunday because that's not what you were trying to track. So if that makes sense. So you would count the percentage including those days almost as like a given part of the percentage. Oh, I feel like that made no sense. I hope it did. But it was definitely enlightening for me because things that I thought, I didn't do the workout percentage correctly on this, but like no spend. I had some really bad days in there where I went way overboard, but I was still at 74% on just a day. I am choosing not to look at the no spend because I feel like every time I do that, I go off the rails. Because I feel like I'm bottlenecked and then I go buck wild when I can spend again. So I'm just being conscious of the fact that I'm trying to save money and prepare for a move situation. So I'm just trying to keep that in mind and put my big girl pants on and just move forward. So that's enough chat on tracker page. I think I've shared enough. So we're going to What's that? Oh, I love that. Okay, that is that. So, September kind of stumped me on a lot of levels, and I was very aggravated because I had all this bleed through. With Hobonichi, it is very sensitive paper in general. So when you start layering things, it can get a little chaotic. So sometimes you will have bleed through and sometimes you won't. It is very sensitive to alcohol-based things, so keep that in mind. I'm going to move this up. I didn't realize I'd gotten so far down on my mat. Sorry. So it took me a long time to figure out what I would want September to really look like. I wasn't as artsy craftsy in August as I would have liked to be. I worked on some things for the shop, but I wasn't necessarily tapping into that creative muscle. So there wasn't anything I was feeling in particular or getting excited about. So I really had to go down a Pinterest wormhole to find something that I was pumped about, which I finally did. I found this awesome woman by the name of Laura Horn, and she does these great abstract pieces, and I really loved her style. And then I saw some things from, I think, Gleenashop and Ceecee, which was this girl's Instagram name, or it was like at Ceecee. And I thought that that would make a really good, sorry, I'm trying to find a good way to like keep all this in frame. I thought that it would make a very good style to use, just this pretty abstract looking style, and I wouldn't have to really stamp over it. I am planning to do a little bit of paint pen, but it guaranteed that I wouldn't have, or at least hopefully will guarantee that I will not have some bleed through going into October, because I've already got a pretty solid idea of what I'm doing in October. I am participating in James Burke Creative's Whimsyween. I'm going to write that down that I mentioned that. But I will be taking part in his Whimsyween, and he's also going to be doing another virtual voyage. Sorry, I'm writing down the Whimsyween thing. I know that I say stuff like, oh, I'm writing it down, and then I never put it in the damn video. But I am actually going to go back and edit all that in. So that should start popping up in videos. And I lost the blue that not the blue, but the paintbrush I was looking for. What was I saying? Oh, I'm going to be putting the materials and all that jazz into the descriptions. So if you have had a question about something, that should be popping up soon. And if you still have a question that I haven't answered, in that description, you can always message me or comment, and I'm happy to help with that. So all that to say that I have my idea for December pretty well solidified in my brain. So I didn't want to have the bleed through. On top of that loveliness, I knew that I really wanted to use these gorgeous colors, and I should have shown you the swatches. I'll try to remember that I want to show you when we get further back in there. I have been thinking about home decor and painting and all of those fun things that come with purchasing and renting and such as that. And I am obsessed with the color mustard, which has a funny backstory in of itself, that I love mustard so much and I hated it for ages. I just hated the color yellow for no particular reason, which I feel really bad about now. But I really wanted to incorporate these gorgeous colors into my home somehow. And so I started playing on Pinterest, which is the best place to start. So I started to do that and came up with these gorgeous colors for a living room idea, and knew that I wanted to use those colors somehow in my Hobonichi. And so I did some swatches, and I think that they turned out superb, but I I wasn't done playing in them. So I decided that they would make a great color combo for this abstract piece that I was going to do inspired by Laura. So the thing about Laura's stuff is that it's watercolor. It looks like she does use some acrylic as well, but there's not a preciseness really to anything. You definitely have some white space with her. You have colors that bleed and run. There's also moments where like this, like little patterns inside of a circle, and she just kind of lets them bleed a little bit. I did something similar to this on a page in my Hobonichi towards the end of last year when we went on vacation. So it's about this time last year. And it's like Bocassini, I think is how you say it. But she does something very similar to this. So it didn't surprise me at all when I fell in love with this. But I wanted to use all these lovely rich colors. So I am going to stop chatterboxing, and I am just going to turn this into hyperspeed, but that'll at least give you the idea of what I'm doing more or less. So I'm going to kick it into fast speed, and then we'll chat and get into embellishing with some really cool paint pens and some markers and all of that jazz. Okay, so all this is dry. The only thing that I did after I quit filming, I did these little brown spots and then these kind of like reddish brown spots. So that's the only thing that really didn't get filmed. I just kind of added them as everything was drying and unfortunately didn't get the chance to catch it. So now we're gonna kind of finish this up. I use Micron pens because they're archival ink, but they don't bleed through. So you don't have the problem of the Tombow river paper taking the ink. It won't bleed through, and it writes over watercolor beautifully. I love how it turned out for the most part. So now I am just going to doodle over it. I am using my Micron in the 05 in this particular doodle. I don't really have a plan for it, just a little bit of doodling here or there. I don't use, okay, so if you've ever watched my videos before, then you know, but just in case you're new, I normally write my bills down this side, and then I use the month spread to chart my workouts, which right now is looking really sad in August, but that's neither here nor there. It's been a rough month, for sure. So I don't normally need the weekend space, and I try not to use my black pen over anywhere that I would also be trying to write something, like charting a workout. So I try to kind of plan around that a little bit. And then also if I have a space where I wouldn't use it for the month. So this is the 31st and the 1st. So I can work around that pretty easy. Because I won't use this as they'll be on my August side. So I'm going to do that. I'm trying to also kind of create some kind of evenness, and this is into October. So again, I can kind of play with that space. And I don't need to be super precise. This is just meant to be abstract and fun. And I don't want it to look too heavy either because, like I said, I'm going to go back in with a black pen. One thing I did want to do is use this lovely Posca paint pen in a cream color. Because I think it'll, I don't know that it'll come out better. I might have to do my white. There it is. I was like over here shaking my paint pen, trying to figure out why it was not working. Like why the little shaker wasn't shaking. I don't really have a lot of dark colors on here. So I'm not gonna have very much. I haven't done one like this really since March. I did one that was unintentionally very St. Patty's, which was funny because I just did it because I was playing with like another abstract look, and I did all these pretty greens, and then I realized it was March, so St. Patty's, and it really wasn't meant to be that way at all. So I'm gonna do this one. I usually try to keep in mind the rules of 3, so kind of having something pop out in 3 places every once in a while. Like this time I've got 4 because aesthetically it kind of started to look like it would make a little bit more sense. I was nervous about doing this one because of the black marker over it, but I think it'll be fine. And I didn't think it was going to show up on there, so because it wasn't dark enough in that. So we can put that little paint pen away. And then the last thing that I wanted to do that I saw that I thought was kind of cute. I just stopped talking. I realized that. I saw someone do an alphabet. I think it was the Ceecee design place, and I really like how that turned out. I like how that turned out. But in this one, I wrote home. And then went around. I don't know that mine turned out as pretty as I would have liked, but I am gonna do that just to have create a look. And since this is in the second, I don't want to do it there, so I think I'm just gonna leave it at the 1, honestly. As random as that may look, I don't even know if it does look random. I kind of like it just to have that 1, because that's kind of the theme of September, is saving for the home, planning for the home, packing for the home. all of that. Home, nest, whatever. So I am going to call this joker done, actually. So yay. All right. Well, now let's move on to the next thing, which is going to be a weekly thing if I can find my darn Post-it. I wrote little cheat sheets on index cards to myself because I can't look at my phone while I do this because I film on my phone. So there you have it. And I actually don't have any of my supplies in front of me that I need, I think. Yikes. Okay, so we're going to start weekly spreads here in a minute, but I'm going to go grab some things. Okay, so I think I have everything I need, more or less. So I'm doing something a little bit different this particular month. I just wanted to try something new out. I am now trying to find the card for the person that kind of inspired this. It's at nees.imamura. I'm going to post it with all the description stuff. But her Hobonichi layout was really interesting, and I found certain parts of it to be very useful. So the way that she had it was that her work, she would highlight like the whole top, not the whole top part, but like up here where her work would start. So I'm going to do it a little bit different so I don't label it just straight work. But she basically highlighted where work would start and then drew a line down the side for all her work hours. So I'm not going to do the highlight work label just to keep this clean. So I am going to start it at, so we're going to go to 16 and a half. So I'm going to go from here to here for my work bar. And hopefully, I'm not using my ruler one, because I can't find it. Two, because I really don't need it to be that precise. Okay, so I'm not going to do them obviously for Saturday and Sunday because that's not necessary. Then she drew a line at 0 all the way across, I think. If not, I'm kind of adapting this as well. And what I liked is that she did, I just want to make sure. So she had breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack. So instead, I'm going to do breakfast, lunch, dinner, H2O. So this, I'm going to do this all the way across. But what I like about this instead is that I don't have the ink marks all the way across. I've been using that for meal planning, but it makes more sense to do it down here, to be honest. And it looks like I would have the space to kind of do another tracker of some type. So if I did want to put a snack in there, I could. I'm not a snack type. I love food, but I might do it like a snack lunch where I just have like a smaller lunch or a smoothie or something like that. But, and then this way I also don't have to stamp, because I feel kind of bad that you can't get those stamps anymore. So I thought this would be a really different alternative to try. And if you've never watched my videos before, I'm constantly challenging people to try other people's layouts and spreads, find what works for you, and if it's not working for you, change it, like work on it, or try new ideas if you feel like all of a sudden something got stagnant. It's very easy to find your planner piece and then get comfortable in it, and our lives are currently changing all the time. So adjusting with it in your planner, adjusting with it is key. So on the sidebar, she took like a sticker and put like a quote in there. I have so many quote stickers, but I like to use them in my daily pages. I would like to go back to incorporating quotes into my Hobonichi, and I might have to steal them from my passion planner that I have that I didn't finish using. So that might be something if I end up liking this layout to try, but I'm going to skip the quote for now. I have been enjoying using this sidebar for goals for the week or to-dos, and it takes all the space. So I really didn't want to muck this up too much. Another thing she did a tracker for one thing. So I think hers was reading. She was reading a particular book or book series. She was tracking her stress levels, and she was tracking her Instagram. So I have all of these beautiful tracker stickers that I was not using from Happy Planner. So I thought this might be a great way to start using them. So because I am a really bad tracker, I thought about using that as one. But I also want to maybe, I liked the idea of having the Instagram as well. So I think if I do Instagram every day, it will help me remember to do it, but it'll help me also use these labels up and see if this style works. And it'll give me like a color maybe to use for the week in terms of highlighting. I don't know. So we're going to do this. I'm going to just go ahead and pop these guys in. And then, yeah, that'll be October. I usually try to just think. So this is weird because this week is kind of like at the split point, but because there's 4 days in it, it still kind of, I guess, takes precedence. So we're going to do that as the tracker. And then under that, I'm going to do just to do, underlined. So, this is definitely not my norm. If you've ever watched my videos before, I don't really do much with my weekly spread. The only thing I do is I stamp all my hydrates, and then I do my meal planning stamps. That's it. It's really basic and really blah. And not that this isn't. I'm also trying to kind of get away from utilizing too much. I just kind of wanted to pull back a little bit. So I think this is great because these are my work hours. So that'll help. I would love to have a workout bar down here, but the problem with that is a lot of times I do work out during workout. I work out during work hours because I've been remote lately. 3 days a week minimum. And I'm better in those hours than I am after work sometimes. But what this will allow me to do is to try to put more work activity in my work hours and not all over the place, especially on the remote days. It'll let me still have my meal planning space, because I would start writing personal to-dos and I would take them all the way to the bottom, and I'm asleep or in bed and winding down by like 8, 9, 10. So it didn't make sense for me to have these long to-do lists. I wish I could find one. Maybe stuff like this where I'm not legitimately, I was good about my time frames, but I was just putting stuff down in the bottom. Anyways, we're going to see. So I'm going to switch over into super quick mode so I can just, I say super quick mode, but it's time lapse. But I'm going to time lapse doing my highlight marks and filling in these bottom pieces. And then we're going to come back and we're going to tackle the start page for the daily pages of September. So give me a jiffy. Okay, so all that's done. Like I said, it's a pretty basic weekly spread. I am semi-active. I'm trying to be better about my weekly to-do lists and spreads, and I have been getting much better. There's still a long way to go to get back to how dedicated I was back in the beginning. Just kind of circling back to that ever-evolving planner piece. I don't want to get too highlight crazy. That's the other thing. So she also put in like appointments that she had and highlighted them. I usually just put them in pen and then highlight them when they're done. I try not to highlight something until it's done. I know bullet journalers have like the kind of square box mentality, and I do like that for those lists. And that's that. So that's my weeklies. So now we're gonna flip to this page. This is the start to the daily pages. Apparently I crushed all my steps because my thing just went off. So like I said, I was having so much trouble trying to figure out what I wanted to do as a start page, because September is the month that fall starts, but to me, I don't really feel fall-ish, I guess, until Halloween kicks off. But, and then November is really kind of the last little bit of fall, and it's starting to get cooler, and it feels that way. So I was trying to think of how to incorporate fall without it kind of stealing an idea for a November layout. So I had this idea of doing a fall bucket list. So Happy Planner and all of its infinite wonders have seasonal sticker books. So it's great because you can use a lot of their prompt stickers, like go on a hayride, trick-or-treating, that kind of thing, cook comfort food, carve pumpkins. So some of these I will use, but at first I wanted to just use up all these stickers, as many stickers as I could. And then I saw that sticker, and I really love that mustard color, and that fits in with the monthly theme as well. So I am going to, instead of using I even have do I? I know I do because I passed it. The fall bucket list is what I was going to use, and I was just going to sticker vomit all over this page, but I saw, like I said, I saw the pretty sticker with the mustard. So I thought how pretty that would be if I hand lettered and drew in like the similar floral and then painted. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to switch it into time-lapse mode. and I'm going to draw out fall bucket list, and then I am probably gonna I might hand letter some. We'll see what happens. I'm just gonna go into time-lapse mode and we'll see where we land at the end of it. And we'll all be surprised, I guess. Okay, so I went ahead and erased all of my pencil marks after I put the pen in. And now I've got my watercolors out so that I can mix up some yellow, like that mustardy, brownish yellow. I think in the picture it's more brown, personally, but I just want to kind of splotch it. I'm already overcorrecting myself, so I'm trying to not, if that makes any sense, because it's very easy to do. But I'm just gonna plop a little bit here and there. It's not meant to be exact. I'm actually just gonna do it on this one particular type, I think. And then I like that. Let me see if I've got, oh, if you guys have been watching the channel recently, you guys know that I'm loving paint splatters. But you also would know that I used to do a lot with the splatter, like the distress inks. So that takes freaking ever to dry. Like I would have to leave that mess overnight a lot of the time. So I'm loving that the splatters dry faster now, and I'm also obsessed with the fact that sorry, I wanted to go back in with that like rust color for some reason, so I wasn't going to deny that urge. But I also love the fact that I can just blot up extra splotches. So I'm going to leave it there. I am probably going to go back in and make this look a little bit more brush lettery. So I'm going to actually color in that like ribbon mark. But for now, I just need to let this sit and let it dry. And then we're going to come back and I am going to fill that in. And then I am probably going to time lapse me writing everything out as well, just because that's not necessary. But I will go ahead, I'll wait until everything's dry and then we can chat about where I came up with the plans for the fall bucket list and things of that nature, and just enjoy bucket listing with you guys. Okie dokie, so we're all done. As you saw, I went back and used my Tombow brush marker. I don't like it, but that's part of it. The trial and errors, ladies and gentlemen. So again, if you're new to the channel, then you've never really heard me talk about it before, but I'm very pro. Try the things. It's awesome because at the end of it, you're going to just flip the page over and it's going to be gone and it's fine. I love my Hobonichis for the sheer reason that I can go back and flip through one and completely see how my evolution in daily art, and that's really as much of a pain in the butt as having daily pages is sometimes. It's so amazing for me to be able to look back and see how my handwriting has progressed or my art has progressed because I've had a space to brain dump and play on. So I really do encourage this if you're looking for something to challenge you and to just help stretch your mind and abilities a little bit at a time. So we're going to start here. We're going to go backwards to the front and just kind of review what all we've done. So our daily page for the month oh, that came out all weird. The cover page, I guess, for my daily pages. That's a really good way to call it, is a cover page. So it's the cover page for the daily pages. I chose to do a fall bucket list based off of that sticker. You can literally find inspiration anywhere, people. And so I then used the level 10 categories. I did skip, this is awful, I skipped giving and contribution and physical environment, only because there's a couple in here that have to do with physical environment, namely the living situation. That's also kind of categorized under relationship right now. And then giving and contribution. I had a hard time trying to pick something, not because I don't have something to support, but because under the circumstances of COVID, things that I would normally do, like volunteering at certain places, I can't do right now because they are a high risk category. So it's making it a little bit tricky. So I'm working on that separately, and it's not necessarily, it didn't need to go on this bucket list. But I wanted to go visit friends and family in my hometown. I want to try on all my jeans and purge through them. I actually used to work for Buckle. That's kind of where my retail career stopped. But I have so many jeans from that experience, and I've done so many different workouts over the last 2 years alone, and my body shape has changed quite a bit. And I'm never getting back into those jeans, not because I'm not fit, but because my shape has changed. So I need to just suck it up and go through them and chuck ones that aren't there, or gift them, or whatever I need to do with them. So that's happening. I do want to read Handmaid's Tale and binge watch. I don't know that that's personal development exactly. I think it will prove to be because of the context of the show. I think it will be very enlightening to me. I've watched a little bit. I talked about this in the tracker page, but I've watched a couple episodes of the show, and then I knew I had the book, couldn't find the book, bought a new copy, but I do want to read it and the second book before I start binge watching. Anyways, so spirituality, going on a hike in the mountains, and I guess this could kind of roll into personal development. I want to do a trail that I have done before, and one that I haven't, so that I can kind of re-experience something I've already done and look at it with new eyes, and then look at a new trail with new eyes. Finances, I want to be 6 months ahead on my car payment because it's the biggest bill I have. And when you're in the process of wanting to move and thinking about moving, you try to consolidate some expenses, and that is the best way for me to prepare myself and give myself a good cushion. Career, I know this sounds so dumb. Organizing the storage room. As far as career goes, I got my insurance license a couple weeks ago. Like, I finished all studying, all testing, all submissions of applications, the whole shebang. So I'm officially licensed in my state to sell life, accident, and sickness insurance, which is fantastic. So I get a break for a little while. And then we're going to launch into studying for the next thing, which is probably going to be my series tests or my life coaching licensing. So I get a little bit of a break through the fall, while we patiently calm down. Fun and recreation, camping. I've never been camping. I've been glamping. I'm still very keen on the glamp idea, but I'm not very keen on the camp idea. I'm a little nervous, but I do want to do it in the fall while the weather is manageable. I don't want to be freezing, and I don't want to be hot. So that has to get done. Fun and recreation would also be finishing the first half of my Hobonichi, because it needs to be done, and it's hanging over me like a cloud. Health and fitness. So I don't know if you guys have seen these. They're like themed running apps. I know I've heard of like zombie themed ones. I've heard of all different kinds. There's ones that like run in line with a story, which is kind of cool. So I just want to try it. I just think it would be fun. I actually got all the way down to the last week of my Body Boss fitness book that I made it. Let's see, there's 12 weeks, so 11, and then you get 4. That's 15 weeks. So 15 weeks straight, more or less. And then I quit. We had to put the dog down, and obviously we were wrecked, and thankfully we didn't like eat our feelings or anything. We shopped them, which might have been worse. But we were definitely not in the mood to work out or do much of anything. And it fell, the 12th week fell on our last week with her. And we knew that it was coming and it needed to happen and when it was being done. So we wanted to just spend time with her and let family members spend time with her. So there was not, the workouts were getting really long as well at that point. So a workout was like an hour and a half. So taking an hour and a half out of the day to go do that amidst grief and work and letting the dog visits and all that happen. Needless to say, all that to say that I fell off. So I was really disappointed because it was really close. So I'm trying to kind of figure out how to pick back up on the fitness ball in September as well. I just don't know how I want to do that yet and what program I want to do it through quite yet. So that's a whole lot of backstory for that. So now we're going to flip it forward and we're going to show off our weekly spreads. So this would be my typical layout of doing the little meal plan, guys. And the main reason I did that is so that I would plan my lunch times. I had a problem of not, and I still do, where I don't plan my lunches. And then I end up behind on things because I didn't factor lunch into my day and it's this long list of to-dos. So I'm curious to see how this will work. I think it'll work great from a meal planning perspective because it won't be cluttery in here. But I'm curious to see how it'll work through here. I might have to go in and write lunch there so that, and a lot of times I eat lunch while I work, so it's irrelevant, but I'll be curious to see how this works out for sure in comparison to previous layouts. So I have my work hours highlighted straight down through here, and then I have this nice lovely line drawn. My meal planning and water intake will go here. I have an Instagram tracker and then an area for to-dos because that has been working well for me to scribble them out there. And I usually use the whole block. I took this idea from an idea I saw on Instagram. I took this idea from an idea. Good Lord. I'm starting to get tired after this plan with me. But I got the idea off Instagram, off a post I saw. And I've modified it. Hers is much nicer because it has a quote. It has like a stress tracker. It has a tracker for, I think, a reading thing that she's doing and her Instagram post tracker. So I'm just trying to start small with it. And so that's that. So we have a couple weeks of that. Plus it let me get rid of some habit tracker stickers that I had. And then this will start October, which I'm so excited to do a plan with me for. And then this is our lovely monthly spread. Super abstract and fun. Very Laura Hurd. What's her name? Is it Laura Hurd? Laura Hud? Hud? It starts with an H. Hale, maybe? I don't know. Laura something. Found her on Pinterest, and she does something kind of similar to this. And then I got this idea kind of going down that Pinterest. These are other posts you might like hole. And did the home because that's definitely the theme of this month. Packing to get ready for a home, picking a home, moving into that home maybe in October. But being conscious of that's in the view at this point. So there we go with that. And then here is our lovely tracker page all filled in. So I'm tracking my normal things, but then I'm also tracking waist training hours, Handmaid's Tale progress, Instagram posting, and work on Hobonichi, both halves. So we've got that working for us. So all in all, that is the September plan with me. I am so excited to get started on my October plan with me. I definitely have a vision, and I'll be doing Whimsyween. So if you're not familiar with that, start looking it up. I'll definitely post that info as it comes to light. But I'm so excited to finally get into the fall mood. Fall is definitely my favorite. So I'm pumped. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I look forward to chatting with you in the next video. If you like this, hit the thumbs up. If you really like this, subscribe. We're definitely trying to get to 1,000 so that we can do some live streams. So if that's something that you're interested in, definitely appreciate the support there. And that's it for today, guys. Well, thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.